Ooh, she like that.
Ladies and sir, we officially call this meeting to order. This is Monday, November 20th, 2023. This is our board annual organizational meeting. And at this time, we will begin with a presentation from Mr. Tim Sanders. He's the president of the Madison County Foundation for Excellence in Education.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank y'all for allowing me to come and share with you where we are. As you know, the Madison County Foundation for Excellence in Education, I'm going to call it McPhee, is pleased and honored to receive a grant amount of $100,000 and partner with Governor DeSantis and Volunteer Florida Foundation for hurricane relief that was caused throughout North Florida by Hurricane Idalia on August the 30th. I think more importantly, the foundation is happy that we could help our community in a new and a new fulfilling way than what we actually our main purposes are. So I want to share with you a little bit of the timeline. The superintendent and I, on behalf of McPhee, went down to Chiefland on September the 8th and received a check from Governor DeSantis for $100,000 from the Florida Defense Disaster Fund to support Florida families that were impacted by the hurricane. The superintendent, very difficult, she wouldn't let me have this. And, since it was non-negotiable, I let her have it.
Well, thank you.
We tugged and tugged and she won. But that was a good night. We were one of 7 education foundations in North Florida to receive $100,000 from the disaster fund. Others were Dixie, Hamilton, Lafayette, Levy, Swanee, and Taylor. After we received the grant on the 22nd of September, after submitting all our paperwork for the 501c3 IRS nonprofit information, we received an award letter, and then the next day we entered into a memorandum of understanding between the foundation and the Volunteer Florida on how we would assist families in Madison County. On the 29th, we actually received the money of September by EFT. And then at our next fee meeting on October the 10th, we approved how we wanted to distribute the money and also how to do it. And we have asked our auditor, Mr. Daniels out of Jasper, to prepare the checks for us. He will do it all the work and for less than $700. So we thought that was a good deal. And he's excited about helping us. We received instructions on how the files need to be submitted to him to prepare the checks, and we received that information from the district and James Madison and the Creative Arts Academy, and it came out to as of August the 30th, and we use that date as when the hurricane struck Madison County. We had 266 full-time employees with the district and 29 part-time. James Madison had 18 full-time. The Creative Arts Academy had 40 full-time and 7 part-time. That was a total of 324 full-time employees and 36 part-time. And since this hurricane impacted probably everybody in our community, we thought it best to include teachers and staff for the work they did in getting schools back as quickly as they did after the storm. So we could divide the $100,000 equally with the 324 full-time teachers and staff. Each one of them will receive $285. 36 part-time teachers and staff will receive half of that, $142.50. That leaves a total of $97,340. The remainder, the $2,660, will pay for our administrative cost, the $700+ and also, if the foundation receives over $250,000 in revenue, then we have to do a full audit. This may cause us to have a full audit for last fiscal year, which will be probably $2,000 more than what we pay annually. So hopefully we won't, and we can plow that money back into some of our programs that will help students in Madison County. The auditor is working on this, and hopefully we'll have these checks available to distribute to our teachers and staff next week. That's our hope. Y'all have any questions on that?
So, Tim, these are checks that are going to come from the foundation to the individuals.
Correct.
They're not coming through the
Correct.
school district.
We've gone through the schools, we've had to take out all the
Exactly.
matching, and since it's under $600, I believe there won't be any
Taxes
no.
withheld.
So, and we thought that would be
Absolutely.
the best way to do it, and we appreciate the auditor for doing it. He's been most helpful in trying to help us with this. Any other questions?
No question. I just want to say how much, the community appreciates the foundation stepping up in the capacity that you guys have as a physical agent for all of the donations that you've assisted us with. And it's greatly appreciated for the community. So thank you.
Thank you, as
I've got the
usual.
floor. If I may, I want to thank the superintendent and the school board for allowing Robin Hill to sit on our board and to share her expertise and her knowledge, her skills that help us so much. Her grant writing skills. This year, we have a $10,000 grant from Duke Energy Foundation. This is about the 10th year in a row that Robin has submitted, and we received funding. That $10,000 allows us to get matching funds from the Consortium of Florida Education Foundations for another $11,000. We use the 10 from Duke, and also the money we receive from tags.
Yes.
I want y'all to see this visual aid. $20 of every tag money goes to local education foundations. Each year we receive close to $800 a year. So if you use that,
Matching
with
funds
the
with
Duke
that.
Energy match, you go to the consortium.
That's right.
And so that 11,000 results in 22,000.
Yes.
Those dollars go towards your countywide science fair expenses and awards. Also, teacher grants for innovative projects, mainly STEM projects, up to $750 for mini grants to our teachers. So it's not just, it's just impacting many students and teachers around the county. So we appreciate y'all allowing Robin to be with us because he's invaluable. I don't know what we'd do without him. Also, our Teacher of the Year banquet is coming up February the 1st. Put that on your calendar, please, and we'll send y'all a little note in the mail reminding you. And also, the third leg of the foundation is the Take Stock in Children mentoring and scholarship program.
That's right.
We currently have 28 students. We're adding 2, and we have 10 applications for more. And hope they fit the financial requirements to allow those students to come on. Each one of those scholarships, the foundation has to raise around $3,900. That's then matched by the Florida Prepaid Foundation, which gives that student a bonus to $8,000 2-year scholarship to either college or vo-tech. And we've had over 200 students that come through this program through the foundation And this year, one of them is our Teacher of the Year. And that just makes you just,
Smile.
that hits the nail, we're doing something right.
Yes,
exactly. And so, just a lot of great stories out there, and we appreciate being a part of it and helping our school district and also our county. So,
We
Thank
thank
you.
you.
thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you get your address straightened out?
Pardon me?
Did you get that address straightened out? Remember when I sent my donation through the mail and they returned it back to me, said, you did get that straightened out? Yes, last year I sent a donation, they sent it back, said it wasn't a correct address, but which I knew it was. I went up there too, though.
Appreciate y'all and support
Yes.
the foundation.
Thank you. I was one of the teachers that received a couple of the grants, when I was teaching in the classroom, and many teachers have received those. And we appreciate all that you do for the children, the students.
Wherever you do
One
it.
of the highlights of the year for the teachers to come back and tell us about the grants and the students and how it impacted them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders, and thank you for all the work that you do, and thank the foundation for being a true partner in education for the educators in Madison County.
Thank you.
And I'm sure the employees will love to hear about that little bonus Christmas gift they're getting,
Yes.
okay?
Thank y'all.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Okay?
Don't smile.
At this time,
You might want to make sure Ms. Thompson's on the phone.
Ms. Thompson,
I'm here. Can you hear
okay,
me?
yes, we can hear you. Okay, we're gonna continue with our agenda. Any questions before we begin? Okay, sidebar. Why change the order of this?
I guess you could. Why, which
I
one?
wanted to do the meeting dates first.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do that.
Since I'm chairperson tonight, for a few minutes, I want to go over the meeting dates. Let's look at those meeting dates for next. We're going to skip down to 2.4, schedule of meetings. Okay, and to quickly review those meeting dates, our first meeting that we have scheduled is December the 4th and December the 18th. We're still going to try to have the meeting scheduled the first and third Monday of each month at 6 o'clock unless it's a holiday. And so our December meeting will be December 4th and the 18th. And yes, school will be out on the, for the students on the 18th, but we can still meet.
They're up today, too.
Okay? Our next meeting for January, I'm asking you to forego the first meeting in January. Okay, and so January 1st, we will not have a meeting. We will not have a meeting on January 15th, which will be the third Tuesday. We will have it because of MLK Day. We will have the first meeting in January on a Tuesday, January 16th. Our March meeting will be March 4th. No, February meeting.
Skip February.
Okay, February, I'm sorry, skip February. February the 5th and February 19th. February 19th is President's Day, but we are, according to our calendar and so forth, we're scheduled to work on the 19th. So my question to you, okay, that is a federal holiday, so do you want to move the meeting to the 20th or keep it on the 19th?
That's a
I'm
federal
okay with
holiday, and we all should observe federal holidays that are given.
We may observe them, but we're working,
But then that's you.
okay? So.
But I think the board, as we set examples for everybody else in the community, that is a federal holiday. And I like to take my federal holidays off that has been given to me.
Okay, consensus of the
I
board.
could go either way, so.
No, somebody got to make a decision.
I'm okay with Monday, leaving it as Monday.
I have one Monday, one Tuesday, one either way.
I could go with the 20th.
Okay, I've got two on the 20th, one on,
I'll go with 20.
okay, I have 3 on the 20th, so the meeting will be on the 20th. You got that, Ms. Bishop? Ms. Thompson, do you hear?
Yes, ma'am, that works for me. The 20th is
Okay.
good.
Our March dates are March 4th and the March 18th. Those are Mondays again. Okay. April dates are April 1st and 15th. Those are Mondays again. Our May dates are May 6th and May 20th. Okay. Our June dates are June 3rd and June 17th. Okay. July dates are July 1 and July 15th. Our August dates are August 5th and August 19th. September, we're looking at for September 3rd, which is a Tuesday because the first day is a Labor Day, that
So,
Monday.
That's
And
why I
so
wanna
we do
ask, why
not-
would you honor one holiday and then don't wanna honor another holiday, federal holiday? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, I am suggesting the Tuesday, September the 3rd, because we will be off of work that day on the 2nd. So September 3rd and September 16th. October 7th and October 21. Okay, November 4th and November 19th. November 19th is on the 20th because that's the election day. And Ms. Reeves, can you pipe in about that?
Yes, on election years, which
Yes.
the 2024 will be, the organizational meeting has to be exactly 2 weeks after Election Day. And so Election Day is November 5, 2 weeks later is November 19, and so that's when you've got to have the organizational session. Now, you're not required to have your regular meeting the same day you have your organizational meeting, but the thought has been always, well, if we're up here anyway for the organizational meeting, let's go ahead and have the regular meeting then too, and so that's why it's set that way.
Okay, so that's the organization suggested meeting dates for the next fiscal year. And the only changes is what's presented, we chose February 20th rather than February 19th. I need a motion for approval.
I move to accept the calendar dates with the amendment of the 20th, February 20th meeting date.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we accept the suggested meeting dates for the next fiscal year. Are we ready for the question? All in favor? Let me do a roll call because I have somebody on the line. Ms. Knight?
Yes.
Okay, Mr.
Yes.
Frankie? Ms. Higgins?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Bishop? Ms. I'm sorry, Gibson?
I approve.
Okay. Ms. Thompson?
Yes,
Okay, so motion passed. Okay, we're going to talk about the next one, school board committee appointments. And those committee appointments, and we don't have to do them this time, but it helps us know who's responsible for the entire year, and we won't be scrambling at the last minute who's doing what. And so the committees the standing committees that we have persons in place of the Value Adjustment Board. We have one board member and one local business member. We have the legislative board. We have the FISBIT representative. We have the Small School District School Consortium. We have the District Insurance Committee and the Chamber of Commerce. So how do we want to approach this? Do we want to, anybody want to succeed themselves in that position they had last year?
I wanna
I
keep
wanna
mine.
keep mine.
Okay, whoa. Okay, Ms. Higgins, which one did you have?
Small schools.
You have that, Ms. Bishop. Mr.,
I had the value adjustment board.
okay, y'all know we're gonna have to get a business person.
Yeah,
And we can do that later on.
We still got one, 'cause we got a meeting next week.
Okay, well,
Miss Bill.
Margaret Ann?
Yeah.
Margaret Ann, too.
okay, Ms. Knight, you wanna keep yours or we wanna come to something?
I actually would like to go into the FISBIT seat since it's what I do for a living. I know Carol has done it previously in the past, but
If you
know.
have your heart set on it, it's fine with me.
no, I'm asking, I would like to step into that one this year.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Knight is gonna be Fizbit. Okay, Ms.
Okay, what were you
Gibson.
doing before?
I was doing the insurance committee for here locally.
What else is available?
And
the
then,
Legislative Board and Chamber of Commerce.
I'll do the legislative board.
Okay, Ms. Thompson.
Give me what's left.
Okay, District Insurance Committee, we really need an, employee, school board member on that.
Okay, I can do
Okay,
that.
I'll do the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
okay,
let's see.
okay. Thank y'all so much. I need somebody to approve these appointments. I need a motion to approve the appointments to the various committees. Just a blanket
That'll
of,
get me
I
out of
move to, approve the, appointments to the various
community.
committees.
A little bit more.
I've got to move.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we, accept the appointments to the various committees as listed. All in favor? Ms. Knight,
Yay.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Higgins,
Yes,
Ms. Gibson,
Approve.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes,
Okay. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, now, we're at the point we will be electing the chair to serve for the next fiscal year. I need a motion for a chair.
I move to elect Ms. Hagan as chair for the coming year.
second.
I have a property moving second that we elect Ms. Vieta Higgins as chairman of the school board for the next fiscal year. All in favor? Ms. Thompson?
That's Ms. Knight. You-
Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Thompson. Ms. Knight?
No.
Okay, I got one no. Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Higgins?
Yes,
Okay, Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Okay, Ms. Thompson, yes or no? Ms. Thompson?
no,
No. Okay, we have a 3-2 vote, 3 yeas, 2 noes. Ms. Higgins, you are the chairperson for the next fiscal year.
and let me say this, please. The new members must don't understand, so that it doesn't be any confusion. As always, it has always. We don't do it so it don't be confusion, so somebody don't just want to jump and skip others. We have been rotating these positions, and a legal precedent has been set for all the years that this board has been meeting, and it can be contested. And had I not been elected, I would have contested it on that legal precedent, whoever does and does not understand it. Because I know that I'm the only minority up here. So it seems as though the friction is starting now. And so, if that's the problem, and that's the case, I would never be elected chairman of the board. So thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, election of a vice chair. I need a motion for a vice chair.
I move to elect Frankie Carroll as vice
Second.
chair.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that Mr. Franklin Carroll be elected as vice chair for the next fiscal year. Ms. Knight?
Yay.
Okay, Mr. Carroll?
I can vote for myself?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
That's the only vote you can depend on.
I don't know if I depend on that.
Ms. Hagan?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Ms. Thompson? For Mr.
Yes.
Carroll as vice chair. Okay, thank you. Our chairperson for next year's board is Ms. Vieta Higgins. Our vice chair is Mr. Frankie Carroll. Congratulations to each of you in your respective positions. That concludes our meeting for our organization meeting for tonight. Thank you. Okay, let's rise.
in the room. All right.
Take your name, please.
I can't move, I ain't moving away from my thing.
I know you're gonna bring that chair with you.
Which one? Is this the
No,
one?
that chair in the center, you're gonna bring that chair with you.
Okay. That one don't hold me.
Gotcha.
If they 30 years old. What you say, you know?
I know.
This is older than that.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll just move to this one, Frankie, and then.
Yeah, I guess
Is it, right?
Okay.
Devin was next to Frankie.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
She ain't here, we'll move her. I thought we were going by districts.
Good afternoon. It is now 6:25. Welcome to the Madison County School Board meeting. This meeting is now officially called to order. We have item number 1, the welcome. Item 1.1, call to order. Item 1.2, presentation from the Madison County Central School, Mrs. Amanda Brown.
She will not be presenting tonight. She has laryngitis and she's asked me to
Okay.
reschedule that.
Now we will move for approval of the agenda. We have item number 2.1, amendments to the agenda, 2.2, adoption of the agenda, and 3.1, public comments. May I please have a motion and a second for approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Amendment.
You want to do the amendment as, you got an amendment, so I think she's got to approve it with the amendment.
Okay, well, I don't have those. We have some amendments.
Amendment to the agenda.
Okay.
Clean school bus EPA, which could be 4.7 if it pleases the chair.
What was that?
Clean school bus EPA,
Mhm. That is the amendment, which, that is who?
and
2 who?
I would, I think you could make it 5.9. under
Okay,
the-
5.9?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Would there be another one?
That's it.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, the amendment to the agenda will go under 5.9, Clean School Bus EPA. Now, we have had that amendment to the agenda, as I've called out the other items. May I have approval for the agenda?
Carol's
I
made-
move, I move to approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay. Our next item
All
will
in
be...
favor?
Got a vote?
We need to vote.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, will you please show of hands? We'll get Ms. Thompson first.
Yes.
Okay. Miss Becky, 5-0, to approve the agenda. Item number 3 on the agenda is public comments. Mr. Killingsworth, none? Thank you. Item 3.1, comments from the public, there be none. Okay, item number 4, consent agenda. They are 4.1 minutes, 4.2, agreement with St. Leo, Mrs. Robin Hill, 4.3, supplement updates, Superintendent Shirley Joseph, 4.1, fundraiser, Superintendent Shirley Joseph, 4.5, update annuity agreement with Mid-American, Shirley Joseph is superintendent. 4.6, permission to advertise policy revisions, Mr. Ben Killingsworth. Can we have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. Any questions? Any discussion? All in favor, will you please show your hands? Ms. Thompson?
Approved.
Ms. Becky? 5-0. Thank you. We will go into items, number 5, items for individual consideration. 5.1, personnel changes. Mr. Ben Killensworth.
Yes, ma'am. This evening, I'm asking your permission to approve one instructional employee, that being Ms. Bowden, that will be at the high school starting in January. And then we have 2 employees that will be retiring. That is Ms. Sarah Williams and Ms. Kathy Craddock. At the end, well, Ms. Williams is 10/31, and then Ms. Craddock is 12/31 for this year. And then we have 2 that I'm asking for substitute teachers, Ms. Bradley and Ms. Mitchell at this time.
What's the name of the second person?
Rashonda Mitchell.
Okay.
Okay. We have heard the personnel changes. Any discussions, any questions? If there be none, we'll take a vote on the said personnel changes.
I
All in-
move to accept the personnel changes as listed,
And the substitutes.
including the substitutes listed, substitutions.
I will be asking for a motion and a second, so that can come right after the motion. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please show your hands. Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
5-0, Mrs. Bishop. Okay, 5.2,
Thank you.
field trips. Thank you, Mr. Killensworth. Field trips, Superintendent Shirley Joseph.
Okay, Madam Chair, we have one group asking for a field trip. It's the Madison County District Gifted Education Program. They're asking for permission to go on a field trip on December the 9th to St. Mark's Wildlife Refuge.
Okay. Do you want to do them individually?
That's the only one.
That's the only one. Okay, well, thank you, Superintendent Joseph.
Okay.
Okay. You have heard the superintendent ask for our field trips. All in favor of?
I move to approve the field trips.
Okay, thank you.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussions? If there be none, we'll take the vote. All in favor of? Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
5-0, Mrs. Bishop, to approve the field trips. 5.3, agreement with Ford and Associates. Ms. Shirley Joseph.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm going to let Ms. Rainick take the lead on this, and she will come and present in her own way about this.
Good evening. I'd like to also present Mr. Will Reed from Ford and Associates, who is here to talk with us tonight about the, what did you call that letter? Engagement letter. The engagement letter. Just before we talk about that, though, last week you were here, and I do have the FEMA consultants on the line, so they can jump in whenever. But when you were here last week, you were given some preliminary figures, and you were kind of told that we might be able to get an expedited project to go through the state. Since then, an expedited project has also been submitted for Taylor County that was insured under FISBIT. And because that expedited project appeared to them to have already been mostly completed, the state had rejected it. So we have asked for a meeting with all the state officials and with FISBIT and with Taylor County. We're expecting that meeting to be scheduled sometime late next week to discuss how we can do this. But just understand that the hope we had for expedited project may not be there. And the expedited project was hoping to ask for about half of our deductibles up front so that we could use them to pay FISBIT while we were waiting for the rest of the FEMA reimbursement. Also understand that FEMA is 100% reimbursable, meaning you have to pay for it before you get it. So with or without the expedited project, we still have to pay for it. The work that has been done as emergency work will be 100% reimbursable. But the work that happens after the emergency work, the best the FEMA would give us is 75%, and we would be hopeful that the state would come back with 12.5%, which would still leave the district in the liability position of having to pay 12.5%, which kind of leads us to the discussion about bonding. And Mr. Reeves, I would hope that you would jump in and help me with this.
Sure.
Because I'm totally kind of trying to
Absolutely.
do all this.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Will Reed with Ford & Associates. We are municipal advisors. The contract we have before you is basically to engage our firm to go through and assist you through any potential borrowing that you may or may not need. Obviously, ideally, the FEMA or the state will come through and provide enough cash in a timely manner to go through and allow you not to borrow. But in the extent that you do need to go through and access money before those reimbursements can go through and be made, we're here to help you through that process. Also on the agenda is the engagement with Brian Miller Olive, who are bond counsel. They would be in a similar type role, handling the legal aspects of any potential borrowing and make sure that whatever gets done is done in a legal manner. Our role is to go through and make sure that anything that's done is both financially in your best interest and to make sure that you're aware of all the options that you have before you. At this point, it's still a little too early to go through and know exactly how we're going to go through and proceed. You do have a few options available as far as methods and mechanisms to go through and access some capital in advance of those needs. Happy to answer any questions.
Can I say something, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir. As speak as you please.
Thank you. The issue here and the reason we're doing all this is, as you recall, the FISBIT program has some wonderful parts to it, and the way they handled it, they came over and did everything and all that, that's wonderful. One of the downsides to it, though, is those deductibles are really hefty. And our deductibles right now look to be millions of dollars. Now, we're hoping to get all that refunded, refunded from FEMA.
Yes.
And I think it is likely that you will get it ultimately refunded from FEMA. The problem is FEMA's the federal government, and so we don't know when FEMA's actually gonna pay. And so the crunch that y'all are finding yourselves in, the district finds itself in, is you've got to have money to float while you're waiting to get paid back from FEMA. So what we had to do was, and what we're looking at is, you've got presently a bond issue with your racetrack monies, is what they call them colloquially. That's your parimutuel monies that every district gets an allocation from. We've issued bonds previously. Those bonds, I believe we still owe about $900,000 on them. We can reissue them, pay off the original, and get some funds. We're hoping that will generate $1 million or so dollars in that. And the good thing about that is that generates money that you don't have to have new money to pay, right? Because right now you're sending all the racetrack money to pay the bonds, and you finance it on out and do that. But that $1 million is probably not going to be enough. And so we're going to have to figure out some other financing mechanism that the board can get some money while you're waiting on that money to come back from FEMA. Don't know exactly what that's going to be right now, but we got to figure that out. So what you've got is, you've got two things before you. The Ford & Associates is a financial advisor, and the Bryant, Miller & Olive is a bond counsel. Now, the reason you have the financial advisor and a bond counsel is these are very specialized things. You need people who do this all the time and do mostly this kind of work, because you're talking about millions of dollars, you're talking about IRS regulations, you're talking about Securities Exchange Commission regulations. Those are specialties, and you've got to have experts that handle that. Now, the rates they have here for their services are, to my knowledge, are in line with what is charged for these types of works, but they're hefty. And so y'all need to understand that, specifically on the retainer agreement engagement letter for Ford and Associates. It has $25,000 for proceeds up to $15 million. Well, we're not going to get near $15 million. So $25,000 is a good fee. The reason it's high, though, is it's worth it. You got to have professionals. You've got to have folks that specialize in this. And I think the fee for Bryant, Miller, and Olive was about the same. So those are hefty fees, but they're definitely worth it in this. And especially with a bond issue, because the problem with a bond issue is that is something that's floated on the open market normally, and so you've got to meet all the Security Exchange Commission regulations, which are, again, are very burdensome. And so it's not, and with this kind of a thing, it's not just shuffling paper, because we're going to have to get kind of creative and figure out how we're going to come up with the rest of this money to float this. I have no doubt we'll do it, but it's going to take some work on everybody's behalf. So just so, and it is my understanding that these funds will be paid at the time the borrowing is commenced. I think there is, it is very likely that you're going to ultimately decide that you want to refinance those bonds and the parimutuel monies, and that's going to be paid for that, and then whatever else we figure out, you know. And the other things we're looking at, there's lots of things, and we'll just have to bring that back to you then. So anyway, I guess the bottom line is, my recommendation is to go ahead and approve both of these retainer agreements. I think you need them. You need these professionals, because this is it's just a tough job. And I certainly, you know, you've heard that, just enough to be dangerous.
Yes.
I know just enough to be dangerous on these kinds of borrowing, because I certainly am not up on the federal tax issues and the Securities Exchange Commission issues. So yes, that is my recommendation, to approve both of those. And I'd recommend, Madam Chair, if you would, to go ahead and consider this one, which is 5.3, and then 5.8, which is the Bryant, Miller, and Olive retainer.
Thank you. Mr. Reeves, you are our legal representative. You're the legal representative for this board.
Yes, ma'am.
With due respect, you can interrupt me anytime.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Yes, sir.
that.
There are mistakes that are being made, or that will be made.
That's right.
You are our legal representative. Any member here, me, I'm just the chairperson. The chairperson just presides over the meetings, and just has no really power of the chairperson just presiding over the meetings and with the agenda. And sometimes the spokesperson, if there becomes a time that the chairperson needs to speak when the superintendent is not speaking, I have one vote just like anyone else on this board. So please, if I'm in the middle of anything, any board member in the middle of anything, please feel free to interrupt us.
Thank you very
when you know. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, I want us to sort of bring this in perspective. Why are we bringing Ford and Associates here? At our last meeting, Mr. Jason from Fisbee came and presented to us, and our bill at that time was approximately $4.6 million, and it's growing, people. We do not have that in our coffers, and so this is our methods. We do have the bill, we need it paid, we need the money, and we need it from one source, and that's why we went and we are seeking him to help us with this. That's why we're bringing that before us.
Yes.
Sir?
I'd like to make a comment before if I could. Just looking at my notes here. Now, just to get this straight, Ford and Associates are financial advisors. That's what you are. Okay, and the Bryant Miller, I have notes from before today, reading over this. They're attorneys that oversee what's going on here?
So bond counsel and financial advisor, municipal advisor, as the regulations have gone through and sort of adjusted the nomenclature, really work hand in hand. We have a legal fiduciary duty to the board. I am legally obligated to act in your best interest over and above the interest of ourselves. Bond counsel is your legal representative when it comes to those aspects related to bond issue. They will work very closely with Mr. Reeves and going through and working on those various aspects that interplay between the the laws that you're subject to as a school board versus those laws that you're subject to when you're interfacing with the tax exempt market in particular, and those laws that the IRS and SEC go through and lay out to allow you to borrow on a tax advantage basis. We work very closely with all parties involved to go through and provide you with really the best outcome possible. Borrowing money is not ideal, we understand. Our goal is to give you a product that is best suited to help the district succeed in the long term. We do work with approximately 25 districts throughout the state. Work with Lee schools after they got hit with their hurricane. We work with Bay schools after they got hit with Michael, all the way out. We work
You mean Lee County?
with Lee.
Yeah, we've
County
got a
schools.
Lee school here in Madison.
So, Lee County schools.
Right.
But this is what we do every day. As Mr. Reeves said, this is the world that we focus on, and we have a very narrow view, and that view is going through and helping governmental and not-for-profit clients access the debt markets.
Any other questions?
Well, I
from
just
the
was,
board
thank you
member?
for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Rose?
ma'am.
Yeah, I'd like to also thank you so much, Ms. Mayor, please stay. If they have
Yes,
more
please stay.
questions.
Please stay.
But I'd also like to offer the two FEMA consultants from Synergy an opportunity if they wanted to say anything about this before we talk about the engagement letter. But right now, the dollars that we're looking at, the 4.6, do not include a lot of things that still have to be fixed, like the sports arena. All of those things in the sports field. None of those are included in this. So even if we're able to get $1 million out of the pari-mutuel funds, we still do have a great need to go larger than that to get the money we need to cover this disaster. So, Ms. Melinda or Mr. Jeremy, if you're on, would you like to say anything?
Well, Mrs. Rose,
I'm sorry.
is that on the agenda for 5.5 FEMA consultant?
They are,
I'm not sure.
That's where they're gonna officially award the FEMA consultant to
Yeah.
Synergy because we had to give people time to test it.
Yeah, I'm just asking them if they wanted to respond about the FISBIT emergency.
Well, that's the
FEMA.
question that I had. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Ms. Rose, we're happy to do.
Ma'am?
We're happy to do that. As Ms. Rose explained, the 4.6 is going to be your 100% covered deductible for the emergency work. Anything above that, there are approximately 12 areas that have not met deductible to date. So we would be submitting permanent projects for the balance of those deductibles, and you will be reimbursed at guaranteed 75%, and when the state kicks in 12.5% to make that 87.5%. The other thing that, as Ms. Rose said, it does not include is all permanent work that is at the athletic complex. McLaren has not decided on what is not covered under your endorsement, so that is not a figure we can give you as of today.
Ma'am, for the record, may we have your
Yes.
name, please? Who's speaking?
Melinda Hutcherson, Synergy, I apologize.
Thank you. Mrs. Bishop, do you have that name for the minutes, for your records? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Bishop. And
Yes.
sir, thank you for staying. Because as suggested by the attorney, we will be combining yours, and will be combining the agreement, 5.8 agreement with Brian Miller, Oliver, PA. And I think the attorney has,
Yeah, we can do that.
that's
However
exactly,
y'all
I
wanna
said
do it.
combined.
Yeah.
Excuse me, as the attorney has explained to us. And did everybody understand what Attorney Reeves was saying about combining and voting on both of the things, those two together?
So we can combine
So-
both items then?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Would you all like to do that?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. So Mrs. Bishop, you have that. Okay, item number 5.3 and item number 5.8. 5.3 is agreement with Ford Associates. And 5.A is agreement with Brian Miller, Oliver, PA. So we have heard, and we're combining both of those as one motion. So for acceptance or denial.
Okay.
Can I have a motion and a second at one time, please?
I move to approve the agreement with Ford and Associates, and I also moved along with the agreement with Bryant Miller Olive.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that we approve the agreement with Ford and Associates and Brian Miller Oliver, PA. Any discussions, any questions? If there be none, we'll take the vote. All in favor, please show your hands. Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Bishop, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Okay, we'll go on to 5.4 on the agenda, disposal of property surplus. Ms. Joseph?
Madam Chair, we've got some dead vehicles out there that we needed to dispose of. Doing depreciation and everything else, they have a zero value, but we will get something out of them if it's not for scrap amount. We'll haul them out to the junkyard and get scrap amount for them. And the funds will go in our general fund.
Okay, so we don't want to,
But those are your bin numbers and the different things, but those things won't move.
do we want to put them up for bid and let people bid on them or come and visit them and see if they want some? Because sometimes,
We have done that.
Oh,
and
you've
this
done that
is,
for
A few months ago, about a year ago, we did the bid. This is what was left over after the bid.
okay. Okay. What's the board's decision?
I move to approve the disposal of property surplus.
I second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and second, moved by Board Member Carroll, second by Board Member Knight, that we dispose of property surplus. Any discussion? All in favor, show your hands, please. Ms. Devon?
Yes.
5-0, Mrs. Bishop. Okay, we'll go on to 5.5, FEMA Consultant, final award. Ms. Rose?
I can repeat what she told me, because she told me it would be on there. When you did the FEMA consultant, you chose synergy when we did the bidding. And we had to allow a certain length of time for people to contest that. And that time has passed, and now we're asking to finalize that.
So when we voted before, we jumped the gun, we did it too quick, and now we need to go ahead and affirm it.
Thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the final award for the FEMA consultant
And award that to Synergy.
for Synergy.
Second.
It has been properly moved by Mrs. Knight, second by, was it you?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Gibson, that we approve the final award to FEMA Consultant. Any questions or discussion? There be none, we'll take a vote. Please raise your hand, all four. Ms. Devon?
Yes.
Okay, 5-0, Mrs. Bishop. Item number 5.6, staffing allocation plan. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, Madam Chair, I have no adjustments to that, but I would like to keep the staffing allocation plan on the agenda so you will know that I'm monitoring that each month, so there's no changes, so there's no action.
Okay, so that would be a permanent item on the agenda
I
until
would
you
love to
decide.
keep that on there, let y'all know that I am aware of what's in there, and I monitor that every month.
So since there are no changes, Mr. Reeves, do we need to vote on that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I don't think so. Okay, we'll go to item number 5.7, volunteers.
Okay, for your volunteers, we've got 3 people that has been vetted and presented as volunteers, approved volunteers.
And those people are Flora C. Walker, Madison County Central School for field trips, Kiana Ware for Greenville Elementary, Jamichael McNutt, Greenville Elementary School, classroom and field trips. Okay. You have heard from the superintendent concerning volunteers. Any questions or discussion? Okay, may I have a motion and a second to approve the volunteers, please?
I move to approve the volunteers.
I second.
It has been properly moved by Mrs. Carroll, second by Mrs. Knight, that we approve the volunteers. All in favor of, show your hands, please. Ms. Devon?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Bishop, 5-0. Okay, we're going right on to item number 6.
5.9.
Yes, got
Oh,
it wrote
yeah,
down here too.
that's right.
5.9 will be Clean School Bus EPA.
Okay, what you have presented, this is just an agreement to allow this representative to write a grant on behalf of us. It does not obligate us in any way. It's no funds exchanging hands, but we are in the age of electric buses, and there's a lot of grants out there, and so they're gonna go out there and write, and see, could they possibly get some? If they can, they will bring it back to us. It does not even obligate us to get the buses if they say they can be funded.
But if they write the grants and we get the buses, there's a certain percentage that they get for writing the grant, isn't it? Is it?
I don't know. They're writing,
You do
they're
it.
writing it, but it's no money coming out of our pocket.
Well, that's what I said. After they write the grant and we approve that grant, there usually is, when people write grants and the grant is approved and we get the grant, there's percentage of the grant, so that's all I was
I'm
asking.
sure they are, but they will, before they get that far, they will bring it to us.
Okay, board members, you've heard and you've understood. Okay. Any questions or any discussion about item number 5.9, Clean School Bus EPA? Okay. No discussions? We'll take the vote.
I move to accept the grant application process for the Clean School Bus.
Second.
Been moved by Mrs. Knight, second by Mrs. Gibson. All in favor, please show your hands. Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bishop, 5-0. Okay, I apologize. Now we'll go right into item number 6, other items of interest. And Madam Superintendent,
Okay, I really have a short list tonight, people. One thing, November 28th, let's add this to our calendar. That's your SRP luncheon. The details will be emailed to you. I cannot tell you exactly.
We're never here that week.
Huh?
We're always at conference for that. It's always when we're.
I'm leaving at 1 o'clock after that.
Okay.
But I will be attending this, and as soon as this is over, I'll be going to conference. But this is on a Tuesday.
Okay.
that's it?
That's it. I tell you how to show on this thing.
Well, usually when you say short don't mean one item. Okay, Mr. Attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mrs. Gibson?
I'd like to recognize Madison County Farm Bureau for sponsoring the essay contest. What does agriculture mean to me? This was available to the 5th graders in Madison County. And I'd also like to recognize the Madison County 4-H with Mrs. Beth Moore for the speech contest for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. This was available to all of them in the county also. And these activities provide a good experience for our students, and I appreciate them doing it. Thank you.
Mrs. Knight?
No, I too attended both events, essay events, and Ms. Gibson is absolutely accurate in saying that it does provide a great outlet and resource to our kids. I just want to say how impressed I am with our kids' speeches that they wrote. I was blown away with some of the presentations and even the public speaking that was exhibited from the children 4th or 6th grade, just totally blew me away. But I also want to congratulate our Cowboys on winning their first playoff game the other night. It was a little bit of a blowout, but I hope to see more people out there this Friday evening. And I just want to wish all of our faculty and staff a wonderful Thanksgiving break, and I hope that you get to enjoy some wonderful time with your families.
Mr. Campbell?
I'd just like to thank Mr. Tim Sanders for his presentation tonight and the generosity of that, what's that, Madison?
McPhee.
McPhee. And I want to thank Miss Sarah and congratulate Miss Sarah Williams on her retirement and Miss Kathy Craddock on her retirement. Hope they enjoy it and appreciate everything they've done for our district.
Okay, board members, I would like to thank you for choosing me as your chair and Mr. Carroll as your vice chair. And as always, I appreciate everything, what everyone has done in the district. And you are really appreciated. Thank you. Ms. Thompson?
I will keep it short and sweet, but I just wanted to say that I hope all of our staff have a wonderful Thanksgiving break, some well-deserved rest, and thank you all for everything you do.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.